What's going on, guys? This is the Film Center here with my first ever video on this channel. Um, it's kind of going to be a sports slash movie TV show breakdown channel. Big Steelers fan, big sports fan, big, kind of movie fan in general. So, just kind of thought this would be a good little first video, give you my thoughts, record predictions, kind of, all those basic things. So, let's get straight to it. First game, week 1, coming in against the Jets. Away game, big game, I think. Aaron Rodgers' first game back, in New York, first game for the Steelers. I think, he's going to be very important for this first game. And, honestly, I think he'll show out very comfortable in saying I think he'll throw for 300 yards. He'll have a big first game coming out, but kind of three highlighted players I have for him. Sauce Gardner, obviously one of the best corners in the league, if not the best corner in the league. Justin Fields, coming over from the Steelers last year, was our quarterback. I know he's been struggling a little bit in training camp, preseason. I think he's also been a little bit injured too. So, hopefully we can slow him down, kind of, neutralize him. And then, obviously Garrett Wilson, another stud on the offense. Easily top 10 to 15 wide receiver in the league. I mean, you saw what he did last year with Adams and Rodgers there. Now he's the lead wide receiver. Adams in Los Angeles now. So, as far as this game goes, I think we'll be able to, more or less get after the Jets, pressure them, force, Fields into uncomfortable situations and just not give him time. Honestly, I'm not too worried about their defense, outside of a couple players here or there, but I think we'll honestly be able to take care of them. Score prediction, I don't personally like giving score predictions because, there's no telling, because every game I would just have to make close, and I'm not doing all that. So I think the Steelers win pretty comfortably. I'd say probably a 2-possession win, game win, I should say. But, week 1 starting out with a win, in my opinion. Week 2 now, first home game, honestly, not too worried about Seattle. Not very confident in them. They didn't make too many moves in the offseason. Honestly, I think they got worse. Obviously now another revenge game for another player we got in this offseason, DK Metcalf. Obviously, I think he'll have a big game. He'll be ready to show out, a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and it's his first home game for the Steelers in Heinz Field. I'm not calling it, what you see on the screen, but That's whatever. Three highlighted players: Kenneth Walker, one of the top backs in the league; Jackson Smith-Njigba, one of the better wide receivers. If I'm not mistaken, was a rookie last year or the year before. Balled out. Sam Darnold. Just honestly seeing what he looks like on the new team. But honestly, similar situation to week 1. I think our defense will be too much. Our front seven probably will dominate their offensive line. I don't think Darnold's going to have much time, and, I think it'll be a long day for them. So, I got to start now 2-0. Pretty easy win over Seattle, in my opinion. I don't think it'll be too close. Maybe in the beginning, but once the pass rush starts getting home, I think that'll be ball game from there. Week 3, you jump into what I think will probably be one of the earliest tests of the season. New England Patriots. In my opinion, I think they're pretty underrated going into the season. I think Drake May is ready to make that next step with Stephon Diggs, in my opinion. I just think Diggs is one of those guys that he'll up your QB's play by 2 to 3 times as soon as he arrives on your team. Obviously coming off of an injury, so got to see how he looks from there. Christian Gonzalez, stud cornerback for them. But honestly, with them playing at home, it's early in the season. Unfortunately, I think they will probably get a win over us here. I just think it'll be one of those games where you're confident going in, but most Steelers fans know how these games go. So unfortunately, I got the Patriots probably squeaking out a win here. Just with them being at home, like I said, I think May makes that next step. Diggs is out there still, so I think they're a pretty good team. It'll be a close one, but it'll be one of those where it's just an annoying loss. So, I kind of got us rolling out at 2-1 to start. Week 4 now. You move into a game which I don't know. It's in Dublin. Haven't I don't think I've ever seen the Steelers play out of the country in my life. So we'll kind of see how this goes. I mean, it's a weird game already just with it being at 9:30. I mean, Vikings alone, they're a decent team, I think, coming into this year. Really gonna stand on what JJ McCarthy looks like coming off an injury. Still gonna have Justin Jefferson, Byron Murphy, Jonathan Allen, who just came over, if I'm not mistaken, in this past offseason. Very good interior defensive lineman, and I think their defense is pretty underrated, but I think it'll be a good back and forth early morning game for 9:30 or whatever. But I think we'll probably squeak out a win here. Um, I think it'll be a high scoring game. I think both teams easily get 3 touchdowns, at least, going back and forth. But obviously this is hoping no injuries happen for either teams before then and now. But I got the Steelers starting out here 3-1 going into week 5. Week 5's our bye week, so if I'm not mistaken, it's just gonna skip from there. So obviously, just go jump into week 6. Nice little home game against the Cleveland Browns. I'll make this short and sweet. I don't think the Browns are that good. I think they're easily going to be the worst team in the division. I think we blow them out of the water. I'm not going to waste too much time on the Browns, in all honesty. Week 7, big game, Thursday night, short week, coming off of, in my opinion, what should be an easy win over the Browns, so we should be well rested for this. But, another big AFC North game, back-to-back, in Cincinnati. Honestly, I'm very confident in the Steelers winning out most of the division games this year. So I got us winning this game. I think Jamar Chase will probably get probably have 100 yards or whatever, but I think their secondary is probably one of the worst in the league until they show me otherwise. I think we'll be able to attack that all night, and once that happens, it's game over from there. So, got the Steelers starting out, pretty strong. I know, but, I think our schedule's pretty light coming into these first couple weeks now. So, got us rolling in 5-1 to week 7. So, week 8, big game. I had this completed for a little bit now, but I'm actually recording the day of the Micah Parsons trade, so he would have been listed here, but wasn't there before. Honestly, I think the Packers are going to be a very strong team this year, and that was before they got Micah Parsons. Like I would have had them winning this game before, but now with the addition of Micah Parsons, not really losing anybody, I think this should be a pretty unfortunate. I think this should be a pretty decent and easy win for the Packers here. Even with us being at home and it's a late game, normally we give the Packers a pretty good shot. But in my opinion, I think they'll be one of the top teams in the league this year. So that'll be our second L on the season. So week 9 comes around and now we've got the Indianapolis Colts. I think they're kind of all over the place this year. I mean, they're starting Daniel Jones, benching Anthony Richardson. They still got a couple people, Micah Pittman Jr., Jalen Travis, couple decent players they got coming into this year. Still have Jonathan Taylor, but again, shouldn't be too hard for us to go ahead and handle them, especially with Daniel Jones at quarterback. I doubt he makes a massive and insane leap coming into this year. That's just my opinion. So, I think going into week 10, we're at a pretty strong 7-2. Very, very confident in saying that. Easily could be 6-3. The Bengals could win that game just with it being a divisional game, but like I said, I'm very confident in us just kind of going in and dominating them there. Week 10, late game again. Out in California, Justin Herbert, Derwin James, Ladd McConkey, very, very strong team that the Chargers are kind of putting out this year. Even brought back a couple pieces. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, who did retire, but I don't even know why I mentioned him, so it don't really matter. They still got, they still got a couple players here and there. And honestly, I think this is going to be one of those where we kind of just disappoint again, and the Chargers just kind of take advantage of that. Justin Herbert has like a crazy game. And I think this is where we unfortunately drop another game to go ahead and move ourselves to 6-3, moving into week 11. Week 11 now, another game against Cincy. I think this is where Cincy kind of, all right, we're done. We've had enough. I think they're going to go ahead and take this one, like easily take this one in Pittsburgh. I think they'll probably win by 2 scores. They normally get hot around this time too. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, all of them will start to pick up and go crazy. And I think, unfortunately, I think this is going to be one of those weeks where they find their rhythm, kind of take advantage of our weaknesses here and there, which, is going to be really mostly the safety positions going into this year, and depending on how the linebacker play is as well. But, the pass rush is going to be strong, and our corners, in my opinion, are going to be strong as well. But I've got us losing this game, unfortunately. So, pushes us to now 4 losses going into week 12. So week 12, Chicago Bears. I'm not going to waste too much time. I think we go ahead and get back on track, handle business here, go and dominate. I think this is one of those like 5 to 6 sacks games from us. Like TJ Watt gets 2, a strip fumble. Like it's going to be one of those games. Easily go and dominate the Bears. I don't think they I don't think they even know what they're doing, so I won't waste too much more time on that. Buffalo Bills, one of the top teams going into the league this year. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I'm not even going to waste much time. I think they easily handle us here, even with it being a home game for us. I'm not confident in saying that we just dominate the Bills or win, unless some major injuries occur between now and then. I think the Bills are on par with the Chiefs, the Eagles, those teams. I don't think we are there just yet, but, hopefully we'll get there. Week 14, another big divisional game here against Baltimore. Normally Baltimore, we can handle Baltimore, and we normally do pretty well against Lamar Jackson. I think this year, though, I think they're going to learn and realize last year that why they lose those games and stuff is because they don't run the ball. And I think they'll realize that if they just give the ball to Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson for most of this game, they'll be able to easily handle us. And I think this is an unfortunate another L that we take on the season. Week 15, Miami. Another late game. Big trade happened this year, obviously, between us and them. Us getting Jalen, them getting Minka back. They still have Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane. No telling if Tua makes it through the season, unfortunately. Obviously, I wish him the best, but with his past injuries and, history, obviously, we all know that it's kind of iffy if he'll be there by week 15. But obviously, I hope he is, and I think this will be a good game. It'll be a great Monday night game. I think we'll squeak it out like a late field goal win from Boswell. That's the kind of vibes this gives me. A late night stress for no reason, Week 16, Ford Field, going to play Detroit, one of the better teams in the league. I think they're up there with the Eagles as well. In my opinion, I think their big 3 will be too much for us to handle. They'll go in, they'll handle business. Home game for them, they'll be happy. Almost Christmas time, unfortunate for us, good for them, but I think this is just another L for us. Week 17, again, Cleveland. I mean, you see here it's changed up. QB, Myles Garrett, and Denzel Ward. I mean, at this point, I think there's no telling who their quarterback will be. I think by this point, all 3 would play, meaning Flacco, Gabriel, and Shadur. So there's no telling who the QB would be at this point, in my opinion. And then week 18, Oh, sorry, forgot to mention. I think we'll easily handle business and win. I kind of should have made that clear, but yeah. Then week 18, I think this will be a big one. As you see, the time still to be determined. I think this will be one of those late division games. It'll probably have big implications for both. I think it'll be one of those where I'm not sure if it'll be for the division, but it could be one of those where Baltimore is either going to be the 1 seed or not, because I don't think we'll be all the way up there with the record that I have us coming in at. But I think this is going to be one where they make the mistake of trying to let Lamar Jackson be the hero late in the season, which they've done in the past against us, multiple times, multiple times, and we take advantage of it. We'll turn them into two interceptions, a fumble, and get sacked 3 or 4 times. He's had his worst games against the Steelers historically. You can go and look at the stats and check that, and even look at his record against the Steelers all time. I think he clearly plays the worst against us, and I think this will be one of those where we take advantage of the Ravens trying to do too much with him and not enough with Derrick Henry. So that's obviously last game of the season. From there, so at that point, it kind of puts us finishing the season out 10-7. I think it'll be a pretty strong year from Rodgers. The team all around, I think it'll give us a good push looking forward to, the next season. Obviously, Rodgers is going to retire after this year. I'm not gonna be outlandish and put crazy expectations out there, like go win a Super Bowl. But honestly, I think one playoff game, in my opinion, I'd be happy with. I think we could easily, get in there at that 10-7 record, play somebody like, even a divisional rival of the Bengals, even, or someone like the Chargers or a team like that, to where I think we could beat them. But then after that, once we hit the Ravens in the playoffs, the Chiefs, a team like that, I don't think we have their number just yet. I think you give us a little bit more time. We got to find our QB of the future first. Keep developing this O-line, because I think our O-line is really going to make a big step this year. We got a couple good tackles. Broderick's back at his natural position. Troy Fanananu, I don't know how to say it exactly, but he's going to be coming back off injury. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Our center and guard from last year, the 2 rookies, they played great. And then Isaac Sumali from the Eagles, who we got, I think it was 2 years ago now. He's been great ever since. So I'm very confident in them being able to keep Rodgers protected. We got Warren in the backfield. Obviously made the trade for Metcalf and Ramsey and a couple other not other trades, but we still got a couple of our players on defense. TJ Watt, Highsmith, signed Slay, got Joey Porter Jr. still. So I think our team could honestly finish above what I predicted as well. Honestly, I don't see us going anywhere below it. I think 10-7, in my opinion, is the floor. I think at very best we could win 12 games, and that would probably just entail sweeping the division and then winning most of the other games that I mentioned as well. But really just sweeping the division's the big one there. But, if the Steelers are able to develop a run game that's consistent throughout the whole season, I think Rodgers will be able to get the ball downfield just with having Metcalf. He has a real number one. It's not like we're throwing out a whole bunch of randos out there for him. But getting Rodgers going early, making sure the defense stays strong, making sure the cornerbacks are what we expected, and making sure everyone stays healthy would be, in my opinion, the main keys to this season and, to us even having a chance at making a push for the Super Bowl. Let me know your guys' thoughts, comments, let me know your guys' prediction for us as well, or even leave the prediction in the comments for your team. I might do a full season prediction, just kind of give playoff prediction, stuff like that. But every week I will be doing breakdowns for the weekly matchups, kind of giving you predictions for every week as well, keeping a tally of that, kind of see how I do. Just a little fun stuff. I'm hoping to kind of grow this channel, make it something big, and, just make it something fun, because I love movies and I love sports. So if I'm able to let other people enjoy that, that's kind of my goal. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.